And good evening, everybody. Welcome to an all new episode of Holotheatre. For the first time in like 3 weeks, we actually have a live guest on the air with us tonight. Joining me tonight is the runner himself, Matt Lutz, also known as CRG.
Hello.
And our special guest tonight is Edward Chien.
Chien, yeah.
Chien. And you are Chien on, I know at least GEMP. Are you on that? Is that your handle for like everything? Or
No, that's my GEMP handle on the forums. I'm Challenger. Like a lot of us, I picked my username back when I was 13 and just stuck with it.
I mean, I think outside of like Brian Fred, I think everybody has like like I know Brian Fred. He had that experience. He picked his like when he was younger, and it was like wrestling or something.
Yeah.
Yep.
I know, like I've been D-Tar Tag 1 for as long as I can remember too. I don't know, Matt. How long have you been running, or how about?
I've been running since I was 12. The Crazy Runner Guy name tag goes back to a scout camp I used to work at now
Okay.
20 years ago for the first time.
Interesting.
Been there a while.
Yeah, I was gonna say. So you've been a runner, but have you been a crazy since then as well?
I ran my first marathon in '07 or '08, and I ran my first race longer than a marathon in May of 2009. So I'm coming up on 13 years doing that.
You're making my feet hurt.
Yeah, that's okay.
So tonight we're going to talk a little bit about nationals. We're 2 weeks away. I know everybody is behind the scenes getting ready for that. If you're Kendall Hallman, you're stressing about what to play. So we'll talk a little bit about that tonight. But we're gonna start off talking to Edward here. For those who don't know, Jared recently, little bit ago, and it was he went out into the forums and made a post on the main page about how there's a group of people who are out. There's 7 individuals who are out there for Content Creator of the Year, and Edward is part of that. You developed some videos on YouTube on how to play the game, and from what they look like, I mean, they're really well done. They're really informative. So, first of all, I want to say thank you for taking the time to actually do some videos on how to play the game. Like, I know a lot of people say that it's hard to get into the game because it is a difficult game. So having videos to explain what's going on is going to help a lot of people.
During
Sorry.
It was actually up from yet.
Yeah, it's kind of like I said, Jared made this big post. I mean,
I know you're shaming me for not checking the forums often.
No, not at all. Not at all. I don't go on the forums either unless it's like for Holotheatre. But no, I mean, it's just there are, like I said, there's 7 people who are up for this, and you are up for it. But what you did is a great thing, a great service to the community.
Well, thanks. Yeah, it's definitely an honor to be nominated for that because there are people out there making great content. Like obviously you doing Holotheatre and the other stuff. Kendall, like that top 8 a major video that was that was classic. So like so many people putting out such great stuff. It's amazing for like how small a community it is, just how much content we actually have.
Yeah, it is a little crazy, like how much people are putting out. But I mean, that just shows that the community as a whole really wants to keep this game going, and that right there is probably the biggest thing. So, but let's go before we go ahead and talk about your videos. Why don't we talk about you? Like this is your first time on Holotheatre. So what got you into Star Wars? I don't know. Like what got you in, and when did you start playing?
So I have the same start from a lot of the interviews I've heard on on Kendall's podcast. One of the premier introductory 2-player game, right? I liked Star Wars, so my parents picked that up for me from Toys R Us one year, and then I collected extremely casually for a while. Didn't really know how to play, and then when I was like 2012, I think I took more of an interest in learning how to play.
Mm-hmm.
Bought a few more cards, went to my first local tournament.
Yep.
And got totally smashed, but I had fun, so I kept playing.
Okay.
Played for the next couple years. I did okay at Worlds in 2004, not great. I nearly made the day 2 in the heats. They used to do the
Mm-hmm.
heats on day 1. I missed the cutoff by like 1 slot, so not great, but not the worst, right? And then my local playing community kind of died out. I went to college, things happened. And other than randomly finding a pickup game here and there, I didn't really play again until probably 2018, maybe early 2019.
Right.
I was trying to start up a local player community in Phoenix, in Arizona, where I was living at the time.
Okay.
And this guy, Ryan Ritter, had moved there recently from Atlanta and posted our Facebook group. So I connected with him. And he actually introduced me to GEMP, which I hadn't heard about. Speaking of like not being in touch with the forums and all of that. And that was, that changed everything,
Right.
like it has for so many people.
Yeah.
So I just started playing again on GEMP, and I guess I'm back.
So where are you now? You said you were in Phoenix for a while, but where are you located now?
In the Boston area. My wife and I moved here going on 2 years ago.
Sure. Wow.
So,
And go ahead, Matt.
thanks. What was it like for you? I guess what did your collection look like when you found GEMP versus what was it like now being on GEMP and you can build any deck you want within 5 or 10 minutes?
So I had a decent collection, but I was never a guy who was going to be able to play Black Sun or
Right.
anything like that. So GEMP was a lot of fun in that regard. On Holotheatre a little bit back in the day, but not very much because it was just a little bit clunky. So I'd kind of had that experience of being having access to the whole card pool.
Right.
Okay. Yeah, and GEMP, it's kind of funny. Like over the years, people finding the game or coming back, and they're experiencing GEMP for the first time. What were your thoughts when you got onto GEMP for like the first time?
I was just amazed at how easy it was. Like I was able to think about playing the game instead of like how to mechanically
Right.
manipulate the
Mm-hmm.
cards, which on Holotheatre really was where a lot of my concentration went when I was playing, and at least until you get really used to it, I guess. But
Yeah.
and for a returning player also, the flash is reminding you what the cards do, super useful.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, still useful, but but especially when I was first getting back into playing, super useful. I definitely learned things about the rules that I had never really fully appreciated before. So yeah, GEMP has been was for me a total game changer, and I know for many other people also.
Right.
Yeah. And so you're saying you're in Boston. So since you moved to Boston, have you been going out and experienced any local events up there?
So our first one that I'm aware of in a while is actually going to be this weekend. We're having a league event
Okay.
in not in Boston, but in some town not too far from it. I'm still learning the Massachusetts geography. So that'll be a lot of fun. I did go down to the MPC. New Jersey's
Okay.
not too far, so I went in January and played there. But yeah, I've not played much in person for a long time.
Right. Was this year's MPC your first major since coming back?
Second. Not too long after coming back, when I was still living in Phoenix, I went to the Endor Grand Prix. This was 2020. Because that was a really short flight. It was pretty convenient also.
Mm-hmm.
I could just take like a half day from work literally and attend. Did not do very well. I won one of Brian Fred's bottom 8 packs that he gives out. Such really generous guy, be Fred. But yeah, that was my first one since coming back, and MPC was the second.
Well, to be fair, I think I won one of those packs as well. So, but I remember in 2020, once COVID hit and the game switched to online, did you participate in any of the online like major events as well?
I did. I played Texas Mini Worlds that year, and I won my pod.
I
Um,
don't remind me.
talk to B Fred about that. Like if I say the word protector to him, I think his brain will explode.
Yeah, B Fred had a bad day. I know he lost to you, and then he lost to me that day as well. So
Yeah, yeah, and
It
that
happens.
that's the way the cards fall sometimes, even if you're a really good player like B Fred, right?
mm,
But yeah, like my game against him, I was playing Throne Room and I blew him out with Protector, and
I love it.
yeah. So I played Texas Mini Worlds, and then I played Worlds that year also, the
Mm.
online Worlds. That was a lot of fun.
So are you glad we're past the Hitco hunt down virtual meta of that?
I didn't really participate in that in the Hunt Down Hitco thing, which is probably one of the reasons I didn't do as do do too well at that Worlds, because those were definitely
Yeah, yeah. I think that if you weren't playing those decks, it was going to be a hard time for a lot of
yeah.
people.
Yep.
But so you say that so you're playing in a you said it was a local or a regional this weekend.
Yeah, one of
Um,
our Kashyyyk League events.
so who's all in your league? Like who are you expecting to see up there?
We've got a decent number in the league, nine people, I think, playing. Unfortunately, not everyone's going to make it to the event,
Mm-hmm.
but it's a pretty stacked league. Pistone's in it, Desai, Eric Hunter, um, Jason Riendo, James Martin, um, and then like there's David Dredge, and Tommy Santos Suaso also. I think I think I just literally named everyone, but
I mean that's a solid list there.
yeah,
Yeah.
yeah.
So how are you going to contend in a league there? Yeah, in a league that has Desai, Eric Hunter, Pistone, all those big name players.
It's tough. It's a tough league, but it's fun, and I'm doing okay so far. The three events we've had so far, I'm 3-1 in each of them, so I'm satisfied with that. You know,
Yeah.
Pretty
Eric
stout.
Eric I think has only taken one loss at all yet, but given to him by Desai. So
I was going to say, how are you contending against the weirdness that Eric Hunter likes to play?
um, I don't know. It's fun. It's fun to me. Like I like something that's not just OA all the time.
Yeah, I can imagine. Like
Yeah.
OA is one of those decks like you don't want to play it against it all the time. I mean, unless you have like 8 hours available to you. But no, I mean, I'm glad to hear that you're doing well in your league and that you're participating in it. So let's go ahead and talk about some of the videos and what made you produce some videos on how to play the game. So I guess that's the first question. So what actually made you want to make some videos on how to play the game?
So it was early last year. I got the idea because we were in the thick of COVID. GEMP was bigger than ever,
Mm-hmm.
and uh, new players were just signing on to GEMP from out of nowhere and be like, I haven't played in 20 years, but this looks cool. That was happening a fair amount, and I looked around and I realized that well, so even past COVID, I knew that with GEMP being as solid of a platform as it was, we had a huge opportunity to attract new players to the
Mm-hmm.
game who just liked Star Wars and or really well designed games, as I believe this one is. Um, but I looked around and I realized that the the learning curve there was not a lot of materials out there to really help
Yeah.
people learn from the ground up. There were a few things people had done, like Bastion's Jedi Academy,
Mm-hmm.
where he explained basic strategy in a really helpful way for newer players, but it assumed you knew the rules already, right?
Mm-hmm.
I didn't see tutorials for actually learning the rules from the ground up in a way that wasn't overwhelming. So I just got the idea to make one of those on a few principles. One of them being not to overwhelm. Because most of the actual things you're going to do in a game of Star Wars, it's a very small portion of the 350-page rule book that you're
Right.
Yeah, and who really wants to read
using most of it.
I was going to say, who really wants to read a 350-page rule book at this point?
Right. I mean,
Yeah.
That's why I have mine open in a PDF form all the time, but it's, Control F. Let's go find this card or this ruling or this, characteristic.
Yeah, and like props to the rules team. It's super well organized. Like if you're looking for something, you can find it, but it's just a lot to go through to learn how to play.
Right.
And there's like the 2-pager, like the beginner's rule book, but that's not enough, right? On the other end of the spectrum.
Right.
So I just wanted to make something that was thorough without being overwhelming. So I came up with this concept of tiers.
Okay.
Like you have your tier 1 set of rules that allow you to play, say 60% of the situations in a normal game. Then your tier 2 set that gets you to like over 90%, making numbers up. And just approaching it that way, because for newer players, a lot of the time the recommendation is play sealed, right?
Mm-hmm.
And that does help in that you have a smaller card pool to work with, but you don't really have a smaller rules pool to work with in sealed. And so you still have the same learning curve. So the way I've designed because I have a whole I've only done 4 modules so far, but I've got a plan for about 10 in the first tier and then a second tier of other modules also. And for example, one of my thoughts is you don't really need to know about vehicles early on. Eventually, yes, but you can play a very fun game that's very similar to any open game without vehicles. And so in tier 1, vehicles aren't discussed. And my long-term plan is to have demo decks that only use the rules, decks that only use the rules taught in tier 2 to kind of provide a graded introduction, kind of similar to what I read a post about what Walseth does in teaching the middle school kids. Pretty similar to that.
I think that's my post.
Oh, is it?
Well, because I've got a 10-year-old that I taught using the Walseth method.
How many times has your 10-year-old beaten you?
Well, the first rule of the Walseth method is you lose your first game against your student.
I didn't know that.
It is. Yeah, Kendall and I Walseth lives close to me, and so I was at a league event last weekend just to come by and say hello. But one of his tenets is you start with 20 card decks, and you lose that first game against them because they're designed to be asymmetrical on those 20 card decks that he introduces you. Dark's got space, Light's got ground. You kind of go at it from there.
So what I'm hearing is you've been a student of Kendall's for what, 5-6 years then?
Of Kendall?
Yeah. Well, I mean, if he's your teacher and always losing to you.
Wow.
I'm just saying. But now let's go ahead. I'm actually going to bring up your videos really quick. So we were talking, you have, like you were saying, you have 4 of them right now, and they're each divided into modules. The first one, you talk about like the overall concepts and stuff. So, and I like how that one's only about 10 minutes long. This the last one, which goes into characters, is about 18 and change long. So when you continue with these, are you going to be going into each type of card separately, or like going through devices, vehicles, starships, interrupts, and so forth?
That's the idea, and part of the idea also was to have about 10-minute modules, so it felt more bite-sized, and people could just watch a quick video without feeling like they were making a big commitment to something. So the
Right.
character one ran a little long. I might end up breaking that one into part 1 and 2, but the next card types I'm going to introduce are starships, effects, and interrupts.
Okay.
And then I'll just give a quick nod to there are these other types of cards out there that we'll discuss, not right now, but in later modules, later tiers.
Mm-hmm.
And then with just those basic card types, the locations, characters, starships, effects, interrupts, I'll start playing sample turns, go into the phases of a turn, and then show just demo simple turns. And that'll be the next few modules, and then tier 1's going to end with discussion about battling. There'll be a few modules on battling because it gets complicated with the
Yeah.
yeah.
I mean, raise your hand if you ever had to recalculate power multiple times during a battle. This guy, right? I mean, everyone.
Yeah.
I think battling is probably the biggest hurdle when it comes to anything Star Wars related.
Mm-hmm.
Once you get into attrition and everything like that, it's just there's so much nuance that to explain it, it's gonna be difficult. But I like the idea that you have going into it with the whole tier system, so that way you can gradually introduce someone to the game.
And now that you mentioned that, one of the other things I'm trying to do with these videos is whenever I get into something that's rather complex with the rules, I try to give a brief explanation of how that creates strategic interest.
Mm-hmm.
So like in the locations video, both the light side and the dark side have versions of some of the same locations. And so that creates a dynamic where you can replace the other player's version of the location, and so there's strategy there.
Okay.
And so I'm hoping with the battling, when we get into the difference between battle damage and attrition and all of that, I'll talk about how this isn't just complexity for the sake of complexity. I'll explain how it creates interesting decision points for the players.
Right.
Where you might go into a battle where you're going to take battle damage because you can accomplish some other things because of the way this game is designed, as opposed to some other games where it's more of just a power versus power kind of system.
Okay.
Right.
And so, if anybody is interested in checking out your videos, the easiest way to find them is go to YouTube and type in Edward Chien into the search bar, and they will come up. Again, right now you do have only the 4 videos, but I'm definitely excited to see what you come up with over the next however long you're going to continue with this.
Definitely going to continue. We'll see how long it takes now that I'm being nominated for content creator. I guess I'll have to pick the pace up. But
Right.
like I mentioned a minute ago, I got the idea early last year, and we've only just now gotten to this point. So it definitely took me a while. Work was very crazy for a while with, but definitely going to continue.
So besides like finding the time and everything, what's like some of the challenges that you face creating these videos?
The biggest one is probably I don't really have any video editing skills. So I mean, if you look at some of the videos, there's definitely some things that could be a lot. I was envisioning a more visually polished product, but 2 things made me decide to just go ahead and publish them. One was when I first posted about this on the forum, Brandon Beatty gave me the advice that what matters most of all is the audio. If you have clean audio, your visuals can be a total mess, and he said it can still come across as a professional video. So I took that to heart. I tried to have really clean audio in the videos, and I think I succeeded. But yeah, the visuals could definitely be snazzier. But then the other thing is, it's easy enough to go back at any time and kind of clean up the visuals. Like Brandon actually, one of the demo videos I posted, he just took the audio from that and did a much better video in like 10 minutes. So, I figure, down the road, that's something that can always be done.
Okay.
Sure. And that makes a lot of sense.
Yeah. And then I noticed really quick. So you don't have a name or anything for these. Like, what are you? Are you going to come up with a name for these videos?
Yeah, I probably should come up with a name because I just posted them as Star Wars CCG tutorial. But if you search that, a number of different things come up, and they're not really distinguished. So I'll probably try to think of something, but no ideas yet.
Sure.
Awesome.
So other than the videos, what's next for you kind of this year, Star Wars CCG related? Are you doing OCS? I don't see your sign up for nationals yet, if at all. We got Worlds coming up here in October. What's the 2022 look like for you?
I'm hoping to go to Worlds. I'm not going to make nationals. So like, it's a long story that doesn't matter, but getting them back. So like going to events is kind of like I make decisions about like what do I buy and how much do I try to borrow from the goodwill of. So it's just kind of like a pain, but I'm definitely going to try to make Worlds, I think.
Okay.
Good. Well,
Yeah.
I will see you there then.
Nice.
So Matt, I'm assuming you've already got your ticket for Worlds.
I don't have my ticket for Worlds, and I'm waiting to buy that because the current plan is my wife's going to come with me because one of her good friends from law school lives in Atlanta. And so
Okay.
I'm going to go hang out with you guys. She's going to hang out with a friend. And so, but that friend is pending a job interview that may relocate her before Worlds. And so we have not ponied up the cash for that yet. But I'm definitely going. It's just a question of, is it me or also my wife?
That's fair. And Edward, yeah, I would love to see you there. I know Worlds is there's going to be a lot of people, but it's going to be a great event. So the more people, the better.
Yeah, I heard Choose Kids might be coming.
Well, then, crap, everybody's going to lose.
There you go.
I mean, if you're saying Johnny Chu, right?
Yeah, Johnny Chu. Yeah.
Yep. Johnny and his kids showed up for a local here last year, here in Minnesota, for one of Walseth's events.
Oh gosh.
So
that's scary. Like, I don't know if you guys are paying attention to the Retro League. We've been doing a little bit of we did a little bit of videos for that recently, but I know last time I checked, Johnny and his one kid are first and second. That's just insane.
Yeah.
But no, definitely looking forward to seeing everybody at Worlds. But first things first, and Matt, you mentioned it. Nationals is right around the corner.
Yep, I gotta cut out slips and sleeve up decks and everything here in the next couple of days.
And looking right now, we have 34 players registered. You have the weekend pass, so that's good.
I'm there. Yep, I'm gonna play hopefully on the whole darn thing.
And then a lot of your teammates are joining you. Mm-hmm. So a lot of good players already. And then looking just at the main event, so players who think that they're going to do well include Matt Wadden, Brian Fred, Casey, Joe, Matt Scott, Charlie, Mark Walseth. So a lot of good players are going to be there. But make sure everybody stay tuned to the PC channel for all your streaming desires for Nationals. If you still want to sign up, the pre-registration is passed. Unfortunately, so no more chances to pre-register, but you can still go ahead and just register. It's $35 to play in the event. Everything starts next Friday, with the team tournament. And then Saturday, again, is the main event. And Sunday is the top 8 and the consolation tournament.
Are we going to see your smiling face there, Dan?
Unfortunately, no. But between moving and trying to find work and all that other fun stuff, life is just too crazy right now.
And that makes complete sense. It's in my backyard this year, so
You don't have an excuse.
I don't have an excuse. Don't have an excuse. My plan is to play kind of the whole damn thing, and with any luck, it's me and my 10-year-old in the team tournament.
Oh, nice.
So
I mean, who's your when you last played in the team tournament? Who was your last partner?
I played at World in the Team tournament. I think it was me and Sam. I don't remember. We did not do well, but we won the nationals team tournament. Me and Bill Kafer.
Well, you got to bring home the nationals one. 2 years in a row.
We'll see. I fully kind of try to lay expectations with him as here's the deck, here's your 60 cards. Let's learn them. Let's learn the open meta in kind of a boot camp and shields, and be aware you'll probably go 0-3. He kind of shook his head and understood.
What are you teaching him?
A 60 card deck. He gets dark side.
Well, you know, at Endor in 2020, husband and wife team won the team tournament. I think the first, so you can be the first parent-child team to win a team tournament. Break that ground.
So
I don't think I'm as good as Jellison, and my kiddo's not as good as Elspeth. So
I think you guys need to play I Am Your Father and Like My Father Before Me in your decks. The new ones that they just gave out for the Father's Day event.
That would be too good.
That would be too good.
Am I wrong?
He is on the recommendation of some folks. He's playing a mains deck. That's probably the simplest beatdown type thing. Your goal is to do this and then beat down your opponent wherever they deploy. Can you do that? Yes.
And you want to use Darth Vader, Betrayer of the Jedi, because it's the best one.
It is a good one. But we can talk about that more
We'll
about
talk
that later. Post-event, Dan.
Okay, that's fair. So besides Nationals, the next event is the 3rd annual Jawa Brawl. Right now we have 69 people signed up for that one. And to enter, all you got to do is complete a short Google questionnaire and send $0.00 to Jared Napolitano to play in this the event. Registration is Friday, July 22nd. Now, the event starts on the 17th, so you have a little bit of time to play. It starts on the 18th, so you do have some extra time to get this in. And according to Jared, we now have 79. That's kind of sad, but
that's okay. I think Matt Wadden got his 69 emoji taken care of earlier on that prior announcement, so we're good.
Yeah, we're good. And then for the ban list, we have, if you are playing, there is a ban list. The ban list is Carbonate Chamber Testing, Shadow Collective. I want that map. Bring it before me. Rallier Operations V, Slip Sliding Away V. For Dark Side, Light Side is Luke Skywalker Jedi Knight. Sorry, Chris Kelly. Master Qui-Gon Old Friend. Master Yoda. They have no idea we're coming. Old Allies. We Need a Legend. And Let the Wookiee Win V. So
it's kind of an interesting ban list, and I would anticipate that the Jawa Council would then update the ban list following this event, so we've got a new one prior to Worlds.
I mean, the event is like it starts almost right immediately after Nationals, so the Jawa Council would have to convene like on the spot to figure this out. And considering I know one of them is going to be at Nationals, I mean, we'll see if that happens. Maybe we'll see like that good deck Court of the Vile Gangster finally on the Jawa ban list.
Okay, my gut says with all the light side main stacks running around, that's not gonna happen.
Ye of little faith.
That's correct. But maybe we'll see a lot of OA at Nationals and a lot of court in response.
I'm liking that.
We'll see. We will see.
And so everybody who is following around on the OCS really quick, there is no OCS this month due to Nationals. So if you're a European or not going to Nationals, sorry. We can wait until next month with August. But right now, Justin Desai, Bill Kafer, CryptoFist,
Nice.
I forget his name. Bastion, Brad Kipple, Drew Lichtenstein, Matt Harrison Trainer, Eric S, who just was on the Holotheatre last week, and Gavin O. I'm not again. I am so bad with names and words. So again, if I butchered your name, I apologize. But it's just like you come on a Holotheatre expecting for me to butcher your name.
I think that's Dan's goal for our next episode.
I don't like butchering names, but it happens.
Yeah.
Well,
that's all right.
Well, I appreciate that. Matt?
Yeah, something like that.
Something like that. Okay, so
I get loots a lot, so there's that. So don't feel bad. I do. I actually graduated from college with a guy named Chris Lutz that I ran against in cross country in high school. He's in our conference, and thankfully, the person doing the commencement had talked to each of us about how you pronounce things, and she got it correct for both of us.
Well, it is time. It is that time to bring back Swing and a Miss. It's been a little while, but we got 4 questions. All these questions are going to be pertaining to nationals because next week we're going to be doing another pre-recorded show, pre-recorded interview. But we'll announce that later after this, after we get towards the end of the show. But right off the bat, let's go ahead and get into some Swing and a Miss. Our first question of the evening: Master Luke V will be the most played. It says variant, but we're going to call it Persona because I don't want to share
correct.
Persona. Yeah, I updated these, and for some reason, OBS doesn't like me. But it's Master Luke V will be the most played Persona of Luke at Nationals.
Your call. What do you think?
We start with Edward, our guest.
I think it's a miss. There are too many other good Lukes. I think you'll see a lot of Master Luke, but most played when you've got Rebel Scout, you've got Old Man Luke, and of course the Jedi Luke for the decks that play him, or like Farm Boy for those. I don't think it'll be the most played.
I think that is also a miss for the exact same reasons. I think the decks that you're going to see play Master Luke are going to play him as a one-off and not as a 2 or 3 of. And the decks that are kind of Luke dependent are going to play 3 or 4 of him.
Mm-hmm.
And those 3, and the 2/3 or 3/4 of those are going to be something other than Master Luke V.
I think it's going to be a hit. And a lot of the reasons why can be summed up with the fact that, one, he just annihilates any character that relies on drawing Destiny if unable to otherwise, like Cad Bane, Dr. E Combo, Zam Wessel, all those characters that do that, if they come down against him by themselves, ain't drawing Destiny.
Right.
He's immune.
They'll draw, they'll just reset it.
Exactly, yeah. With Yoda, I think Yoda Community is probably going to be one of the most popular decks. A lot of people like it. He's immune less than, 6? Well, he's base 4, but
right.
With the sight, you reduce it by 6. So yeah. So that's really good.
Mm-hmm.
He's not a Jedi, so stuff that gets rid of Jedi easily won't affect him.
So here's my biggest concern about Master Luke V. I would expect a couple of people to play some sort of Rise of the Sith Dooku decks or some sort of Rise of the Sith decks in Tragedy of Plagueis, and then put Lord Sidious out to exclude a non-Jedi character from battle,
Yes.
And he gets hit by that.
That is a good point, but I mean, if you're excluding him, do you exclude Rey? Do you exclude General Leia with gun? Do you exclude Padme?
Good point.
The other thing is, he adds to the deploy cost of opponents' aliens.
Right.
At the same related sites? Like, that's insane.
That's kind of bonkers decks, especially with something like Shadow Collective, which runs related sites.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I mean, he's really good, no doubt about it. But Destiny 1, no redraw. That's hard to compete with Rebel Scout and Old Man Luke.
True.
I mean, he is really good in Yoda Muning. I think maybe Yoda Muning is a deck where you might see more than one copy, but otherwise, I agree with Matt. Master Luke's going to be one of in most decks.
And I mean, he gets his own lightsaber back too, and it can be
And
his or Anakin's.
that text is pretty bonkers. He's
Yeah.
currently a one of in my profit list. I even bumped up to 4 Lukes to make sure I include him.
Well, so everybody get ready for profit, is what I'm hearing.
Maybe in conciliation.
You got to get into the constellation first.
I mean, that is correct.
You got to.
That is correct.
Okay, on to our next question, and we'll start with Matt this time. Maul will be the most played Darth Maul persona at Nationals.
I think this is a hit because I think there's going to be enough Shadow Collective running around that everyone's going to be pulling their eyes out, and they're going to be sick of VSET 13 Maul. The guy's really good. He's really good in Shadow Collective. He's really good as a one-off in other decks. We've seen him played in the Sixth decks in the past year or so. And if you can slot him in and can afford that persona cost, and you've got a non-battleground to throw him at, sure, why not? I really hope I'm wrong on this because I like EPP Lord Maul a lot in a lot of decks. I think he might be the best designed virtual card the players committee has put out, because they had to compete with, the Theed Palace Darth Maul, the top of the power curve, and still that card, still EPP Lord Maul, you might see him as a 2 or a 3x in something like a hunt down or a Bring Him Before Me, something like that. So I think it's a hit. I hope it's a miss.
Okay, so I'm going to agree with you on everything you've just said. And Bring Him Before Me, he's really good against old allies up in space. Like, if you have the Synth Infiltrator, you drop down him, you draw 2 Destiny, each of them is +1. That's really good.
Bingo. Right.
He has his own saber. He's an EPP that drains +1.
I mean, yeah, that text is just bonkers good.
Yeah. And, I mean, but Maul, I think, is... I agree. Shadow Collective is really strong, and a lot of people who are going to this event like Shadow Collective. So I think, and even though the PC went ahead and errataed a Slip Sliding Away V, and so that you can't play the Mind Tricks Don't Work on Me card,
right? And that card just blew up the meta.
Yeah,
for months.
Yeah, but now they're playing the Maul effect where you get his double-bladed lightsaber on him. And they're playing like 2 to 3 the Phantom Menaces. Or 4 in some cases. That's just really good. Plus, the other thing is, people really like the Bat Mouse image of Maul. Okay, Edward, go ahead. What do you think?
So, I mean, here's the thing. Like, I do think Shadow Collective will probably be pretty popular at Nationals. But you're running 1, maybe 2, I guess, Maul in Shadow Collective. And like the EPP Lord Maul, you're easily running 2 or 3 in decks you're playing him.
True.
So Shadow Collective, and like there are some others where you might play Maul, but I don't think any of those other decks you'll see probably much of those. So Shadow Collective would have to outnumber all the other decks by a ratio of 2 or 3, I think, for that persona of Maul to exceed the others. So I think it's a miss.
And you know what? I would love to see the data after Nationals to see who is right with these. I mean, I know we have Adam Fletcher, who is our go-to guy for all things Star Wars data. Maybe we can have somebody like look at the deck lists and figure those out. But okay, on to question number 3.
Dan, I'll read this because you get the first crack at it.
Okay.
Someone who has not won a major will win Nationals. Dan.
So right now, and I thought about this a little bit today, the people who are registered for the event, we have 30 people or 34 people. Greg Shaw has won. Jeff Levine, Brian Fred, Joe Olson. That's it. That's
Pretty short list.
4 people out of 34 who have won a major. Now, I really think Joe is probably the best player right now in the world, who has played in events recently. I still say like Johnny and Bastion are 1A and 1B, and then like you got Joe
Right.
decide. Yeah.
Yeah.
So, and then you've got players like B. Fred. He could win it. Like he did ridiculously well at Endor. So if he can get hot, I think he could easily win it. But and then there, like I said, there's Jeff and Greg. I forgot Greg was going. But my thing is,
it'd be good to see Greg. He won nationals in 2019.
Mm-hmm. But you have Mike Kessling, who hasn't won an event. He's due. Charlie's due.
Charlie's definitely due.
Brad Reinhold played ridiculously well in Endor, and right now that guy is playing so much. Like, he has a chance. Justin Miyashiro is going to. I think he's somebody who could top 8 and win this. I think you have a really good possibility of top 8ing this, Matt.
Well, thank you.
So, I got to go with the field on this. I mean, I have to go with the field, but my gut is saying go with the field. My head is saying Joe Olsen.
I've said this before. It's hard to bet against the world champ, especially now the 2-time world champ.
But he's entered 2 events since he won Worlds, and he hasn't won either of them.
That's okay. Edward, what do you think?
This is a tough one. I'm looking at the list, and honestly, I don't recognize a lot of these names. So
that's why you got to come to Worlds.
Yeah.
I think it's probably a hit. Hit means someone other than one of those 3, right?
Yes.
Okay.
Yep.
Yeah, I think it's probably a hit. I remember, I think you had Joe on Holotheatre after he'd won his 3rd major in a row or something, Dan, and we're asking him this question, even if you're very skilled to win a major. And so, yeah, I think you just have to go with the field. If there were like 8 people here who had won a major before, maybe, but with the 3, I think you go with the field.
Yeah, and I'm also a hit on this. As I said earlier, I think Charlie's due.
Yeah.
Period. He's had a good year so far. I think he's due.
Yeah. And I think, like I said, my heart is pulling Charlie or Kessling at this point.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I would love to see a final of those 2 guys. That'd be great.
I don't know. I don't think they might play. They would play. Charlie's
they
really competitive. Charlie's super competitive.
Charlie's really competitive. I think Kessling would be too. Yeah. They'd play it. That'd be a great. And then if those two do end up in the final, I will buy the winner a handle of 4 roses.
Ooh.
Now that's worth playing for.
Bingo.
Okay, there's some incentive. I don't know if they're watching right now, but we'll let them know.
We'll let them know. We'll make sure. I'm looking forward to seeing Kessling.
Oh,
it'll be great.
Yeah, that's one of the. I'm so sad that I'm not going, because with Kessling and B. Fred and all you guys on your team, it would be so much fun. But life, it's gonna be a good one. Sucks. Okay, we got one last question, and that question is: we'll start with Edward again. The new allies will have at least 3 team members make the top 8. So, for those who don't know, Matt, can you go ahead and list the members of Team New Allies who are going to the event?
Let's see. Myself, Kessling, Shaw, B. Fred,
Matt Scott,
and I think Charlie is the only one.
6.
And I'm bummed that Sam Tashima is not coming. I know he's got a kiddo birthday party that weekend that always kind of falls on nationals, but
yeah,
would love to see him there.
So, out of those 6 people, at least 3 of them will make the top 8.
We had 4 at nationals last year. There's your pitch, Edward.
I mean, from personal experience, at the MPC, there were 4 from New Allies in the top 8. Um, so, yeah, that seems like the trend. I'll go. It's a hit.
Dan,
Matt?
I abstain.
No. You're on the
Well,
show.
I got to go with the guys. I got to go say it's a hit. It's gonna be
Okay.
it's gonna be Charlie. It's gonna be Kessling. It's gonna be someone else. Whether it's B Fred or I don't care.
I'm gonna
I think
go
it's
with,
a hit.
I'm gonna say miss.
Ooh, them's fighting words, Dan.
I know them's fighting words.
So, all right. So then, who's your 2?
Who's my 2?
Hmm?
Kessling. Oh
The
God.
the answer is Charlie.
Okay, you know what?
Let's
I'm
be
gonna say,
Fred.
I gotta say hit. I gotta say hit. I have to say hit now.
Yeah, Kessling,
Okay.
Charlie, B Fred.
Oh God, it's hard because
I don't want to play those guys.
No, nobody wants to play those guys. I think Joe makes it. I think Kessling and Charlie make it.
Yep.
I'm also going to say Jeff Levine, Justin Miyashiro, Brad Reinhold make it. So
you're going to be giving us a whole top 8. I don't want to play Matt Scott either. I mean,
I don't want to play mascot either.
last
So
year.
Kessling, Brad, Jeff, Casey, Joe,
Ooh, be interesting.
Justin Miyashiro, Charlie.
One more. It was 7.
That was no, yeah. I can't count.
Whatever.
7th is
Ooh.
gosh.
Other thing, I get to meet Fungineer Stephen Fulner for the first time. That'll
That's
be
a good
great.
one, yeah.
He and I have played so many playtesting games against each other on silly bad decks.
Matt Wadden.
Ooh, that's a good call. That's interesting.
Yeah.
Matt had a good meta call a couple years ago in the NPC with his TIG deck when everyone was playing AOBs.
Yep. I was gonna say he had a really good meta call back in 2018. He made the top 8 at Worlds.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah.
Well, that'll be good.
That's gonna be a good one. But okay, I think it is that time of the night. Edward, are you ready for the lore challenge?
Can't wait.
Okay.
I'm terrible at this, so good luck. I can't. No help.
So again, what's going to happen is I will give you the lore. You have 15. So once I give it to you, you can ask if you want the set or the type. After I give you that, you will have 15 seconds to guess the card, and you also have help from the chat as well. I do ask the chat does not cheat. That is one thing I will say. So please no cheating. Okay, are you ready?
Ready.
Okay. The lore is the Alliance carefully chooses docking bays from which to launch limited offenses. And I will say this, I will if you so right now in the chat
I don't know.
Gray Chevy Van, he's really good at these. Orion Searson's in there.
So I'm not in the chat. Will you tell me if someone?
Okay.
Yeah. I don't have Twitch open either because my computer will just go foobar if I have both open.
Okay.
I'll take the set.
Okay. The set is Death Star 2. Okay.
Okay, that confirms my suspicion.
Ooh. Okay. You have 15 seconds.
I guess.
Ryan Saracen says staging areas.
That's what I was thinking. Is that what you think, Matt?
Me too. I actually think that. But I
Yeah.
don't know what the lore is on that card, so that just seems logical.
Yeah, staging areas. Final answer.
Oh, with the final answer.
Good.
Staging areas wins.
There you go. Good job, Mr. Surson.
Okay, so Ryan and you
And
win.
Edward.
You guys win. I did not stump I did not stump anybody tonight.
That's okay.
Yeah, apparently that was an easy one.
Well, it's such a common card in that retro format.
Yeah. As soon as I said Death Star 2, I'm just like, okay, he knows it. But I mean, okay, you guys gotta get one once in a while.
I mean, there are a few different docking bay related cards, but I think in Death Star 2 that That's the only one I can think of.
That's a big one. Yeah.
Okay. So again, next week is going to be a pre-recorded interview. It's going to be myself, Jared Napolitano, and we are both going to be interviewing Eric Lonnquist, I believe is his name. Yes, Eric Lonnquist next week. So make sure you guys stay tuned for that one. That's when it's going to be an exciting interview. After that, on next Saturday, again, is going to be the main event for Nationals. Matt will be there representing the new allies and all of his runners. So make sure you guys get onto that one. I will be doing commentary from Pittsburgh.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, it's going to be fun.
Give Dan a medal.
Yeah. But I'll be doing commentary from Pittsburgh during the main event. And then Sunday, I think we have a few people who said that they'll help out up in Minnesota as well. So everybody make sure you guys tune into Nationals. It's going to be fun. And we'll see who wins it. But then the week after that, we will have our Nationals winner on Holotheatre to talk about why they played the decks they played and how badly they beat Matt Lutz.
Hey now.
We'll have the first parent-child team event winner on.
Oh Jesus, that'd be nuts.
It's
You gotta win a game first.
It's putting pressure on you, Matt.
I've got a lot of work to do between now and then.
But okay, until next week, everybody, make sure you guys stay tuned to Holotheatre and go check out Edward's videos. He put a lot of time and effort into these, so make sure you guys go check those out. And then also throughout the next few weeks, we're also going to be highlighting some more content creators of the year, all the nominations, including Kendall Holman, who will be doing Kendall in the Morning. So make sure you guys tune into that tomorrow. So until next week, everybody take care. Have a good weekend. And as always, may the force be with you.
Take care, everyone.
Thanks.